Are we live? We are live.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Black Sheep Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica. This is my beautiful wife, Jen. We're not homophobic. We are not racist. Although I was recently told that our podcast could not be called the Black Sheep Podcast because it's no longer a term that's allowed to be used. But
I wonder if two dykes and a cow is worse or better.
I don't know.
Well, we're keeping the Black Sheep Podcast as it is for now because we love it. We love the name. Ironically, though, we only have 2 white sheep.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of gray. Like, they're definitely not white. You've seen white sheep. They're not white.
Yeah.
So they're gray.
They're gray.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go into the topic of the day, which is being an entrepreneur. This topic comes up a lot in my practice, but it comes up a lot in our conversations just with even our friends. And it's how we view the world and how we see the world from an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's why this conversation is relevant, because a lot of people aspire to, own their own business or to build in some form, whether it's housing and flipping a house or having a little side business or wanting to sell something that they've been making. Mm-hmm. And the entrepreneurial world is something that is very empowering, and also it challenges you to confront all of your fears about yourself, because it requires you to have to put yourself out there and to follow the path of courage and your dreams. And that is also scary for a lot of people, because it means I have to be seen. You have to be heard. You have to, put a price on the value of your service or of your product, So a lot of self-worth, self-deservement come up as inner conflicts.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing that worries people is the self-determination, the self-motivation.
Right.
I think some people have a hard time imagining how they're responsible for their income versus they like to be told where to go and what to do. Like there are a lot of, particularly males in trades, suffer from this, where they just don't know the social aspect of how to gain the business. So they would rather just have someone tell them where to go, what to do. That's the hardest part for a lot of people of being an entrepreneur, is how do I get the business myself?
Well, it requires a lot of self-initiative and intrinsic motivation to either source out, right? Research, self-educate, try things from a different angle, make mistakes and learn again.
Yeah, or just simply pounding pavement.
Work hard.
Just pounding the pavement, working, meeting. Sure. Little basic things like when you get a job, you put signs in the ground at the property where the person is located. Just other people can see that quickly.
Right.
And if you're putting a sign on a lawn, it typically means that you've done a good job. Because when a neighbor goes and approaches the person who's got the sign on their lawn, oh, hey, you just had so-and-so do your kitchen? We're looking for a new kitchen. How was he? He was fucking brutal. He didn't finish. There's still things that aren't right.
Right.
No, if you're putting a sign in the ground, it's because you're pretty confident of your work. And when that person comes up to you and asks how the kitchen reno went, we're looking for a new one. Fantastic. He was amazing. He communicated really well. He did exactly what he said. And we paid the price that we discussed, or close to it. Right? Something along those lines.
Think of how much we all in this world go by referrals. Hey, I got a great guy. He knows what he's doing. Oh my gosh, you got to go see this practitioner. She's amazing at what she does.
Right.
Right? Think of how that extends out over and over again with the word of mouth.
Yeah, it's crucial.
And that speaks to your integrity.
Definitely.
And your authenticity of your service. So when you put yourself out there, if you're leading from integrity and you're doing work from a good place and not trying to, be a thief or just try to get by.
Quick fix.
Quick fix.
Bandages.
Right? Because it's energy. So people can also feel that energy and people gravitate to, good energy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you run a good, successful business being self-employed, in my experience, you really don't have to advertise. That's really not a large part of
Yep.
any business I've ever had. Advertising has not been one of them because it's just
Word of mouth.
easy for me to get referrals because people are always happy and satisfied. Just because you don't like my take on COVID, Brigitte Macron, the Liberal government, amongst other things, does not mean that I am not extremely ethical and hardworking.
Yeah, you do an integral job.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Although I would say that at this point in my life, I am completely 100% unemployable.
I agree. Well, for both of us, but mostly you.
If I had to go and get a job, I would be completely unemployable. I would be fired right away. Why? I mean, it's obvious to me. Because I've always been this way. This is some people would say that this is not the mind of an entrepreneur. It's the mind of like someone who's just can't get along with people or something like that. But for me, it's just I've always been this way. I find ways to make everything smoother. I'm always looking for how to make things more efficient. And I don't think that people that own businesses want to be told very much by their employee how they can do a better job. And I have a hard time doing a mundane thing. Mm-hmm. So if I can find a way to make something better, more efficient, I'm going to do it.
You're conserving your energy so that you can do other things.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that I'm
smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that I'm not working. It just means I don't want to take 10 hours to do something that I can do in 3. Mm-hmm. Because then after that's done, I'm ready to take on something else. So why would you make me do it this way?
Right.
And pay me for 10 hours when I can do it in 3 hours? I could probably do 3 jobs in your 10 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So why would you want that? And I'm just not capable of doing that. So I would be very unemployable for that reason. Number 2, you can't pay me enough money. Now that I've been working for myself for 20 years, I can't go back to work for an hourly wage when sometimes I get paid, $1,000 an hour. Mm-hmm. I could never do that. Mm-hmm. That would just seem so absurd to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, working salary, you're capped. You're capped at a capacity of how much you can earn.
Right.
When you work for yourself, there is no cap.
Right. Now, let's be fair. I don't want people to think that I'm rich. I mean, I don't really work that much, so it's fine.
That sounded really good.
It sounds good if I actually put the effort into working and wanted to work. That's the difference. Is I'm not motivated by money. I could care less about money. I just want to buy hay and wood shavings
to meet our needs, and to have room for expansion.
Yeah, of course. I always say the money that I earn is kind of our fun money that we get to build things with and whatever. But yeah, I couldn't go back to working for somebody. There's just absolutely no way. To get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and drive and sit somewhere for 8 hours and and then get in the car at 4 and then drive 45 minutes home in traffic. There is no way. When I'm in London working, are you available between 11 and 2? 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. Because I have to be my cow milking time is here. I have to be home. I like to be home for our daughter at this time. And I don't want to have any traffic interruptions in the city. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be in the city past 3:30 p.m. That's just too much. And I don't want to go in before 9. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to be in rush hour.
No.
We plan our day based off of, if we got to go in the city, we don't go during rush hour.
No.
Because people are crazy and the stress in the road, you can feel the energy of the traffic. No, thank you.
Yeah. So I'd have to be okay, I could work for you, but I only work Monday, Thursday, I don't know. They're going to be what the fuck are you talking about? No, thank you.
Tell me what the job is and I'll see how I can do it and when I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there are definitely people who are better suited to have a job that just don't have that kind of ability to think and, maneuver themselves into a place of employment this way, but I ain't one of them.
I think there's a lot of illusion of safety and security with having hourly job or salary job, because then you know how much money you're making. You know that paycheck's always coming. And so you don't have to stress about finances in that way.
Right. But I can't imagine making so little.
Well, and
like, do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. You get capped at this is where I have to live. This is how I have to live within my means, because I can't stretch that anymore.
That always blew me away.
Yeah.
Is that you're willing to do all of that, like 40 hours a week. I don't know if that seems like a lot to people, but that seems like a lot to me. Mm-hmm. And to make that little amount of money in 40 hours, mm-hmm. I never was able to look at it that way. Mm-hmm. I always looked at it as if I did one job, how much would I get paid? Okay. And then if I did, how many more jobs would I have to do to make that equivalent to an hourly rate job? Okay. 4. Okay. So I only have to do 4 rentals this month in order to get paid what my company would have paid me to rent 20. That just never made sense to me. Why don't I just work for myself? And if I could do 8, like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just a no, but that's how my mind works. And I know that that's not everybody. I just get frustrated because I don't understand how everybody's mind doesn't work that way.
Well, I was the opposite. So I went to school, got a job, got onto it for a salary job for my profession, got caught in the golden handcuffs experience of I have a quote unquote good paying job. I'm starting out pretty high after being poor and a student, mm-hmm. where I'm like shocked with like, oh my gosh, I'm getting that much money. You're giving me that much money.
Right.
To also getting paid mileage, to getting benefits, paying into benefits to get benefits, to paying into a pension. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I have this status in my job, mm-hmm. right? Because I've gone for school for this education. Now I got this job. Got the status, a huge learning curve. Now I'm a quote unquote professional in the community.
Right.
And I'm getting so much money that I'm not used to making. Mm-hmm. In reality, like where I look back now, it's not worth the stress.
Right.
Right. But that part of like going in, it was 8:30 to 4:30, but I would always have to work overtime, mm-hmm. The high stress, like high stress. Like I was in constant fight or flight in order to maintain the energy to complete the job.
You must laugh at how stressed out I get about what I get stressed out about.
Well, it's funny because what stressed me then versus what stresses me now is vastly different. Right. So, but I was in a constant state of hypervigilance, mm-hmm. high stress, just living to the point where I would have a glass of wine to calm down at night, and then rinse and repeat the next cycle, right? But I can see how a lot of people that get caught in high stress jobs lose lack of inspiration, lose the ability to have any energy for outlets, mm-hmm. like a hobby or an interest or being an artist on the side, because your energy, all of your good energy is going to this job that's draining you all day long to the point where you get home and you have nothing left and you turn to low vibrational outlets in order to fill a void. Right. So you get caught in this negative stress loop with mm-hmm. your job. Mm-hmm. And then you start to do all the unhealthy outlets and you get normalized in that because everybody at work is also doing those things. Right. That you just talk about what shows you're watching. Right. Where do you want to eat for lunch? Yeah. Right. And then you use dark humor to cope. Right. Yeah. Right. And then we laugh that we're using dark humor to cope. Right. And we just normalize that. Yeah. Right. So that was, and think of people that are stuck in that for years, and then imagine I got all this safety, all this security. This is my life. This is my normal. I don't know anything outside of this anymore. I don't have any outlets. I don't have any interests. I don't have any hobbies. This is my normal. Right. So to think about ever leaving that can be so frightening and scary. Mm-hmm. Change. Right. Well, what am I going to do for money? Yeah. Right. Right. Like I got to stay here because that's how I pay my bills. No, you've also lived in order to adapt to that money that you receive. Yeah. How you build your life is around adapting to the financial value of that job. Yeah. Not expanding. Yeah. Right?
And then add kids to the mix.
And then add kids. So then even more stressors with
And a
budgeting
house
and a house, mortgage.
mhm. And a marriage that you're trying to make work when you have no time to put into it because, again, like you said, when you get home, you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
And a marriage is work.
Yeah. So everything requires a lot of effort. And if you're not ever filling your tank back up, you know, your spiritual tank, which is like, how do you get inspired? What are you passionate about? Are you in passion or joy at any point in the day?
Right.
Right? Do you ever lose that sense of time in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Think of how many people, I know I didn't. Like that was hard to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm in that every day.
Every day of my life, I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's bedtime? Like it's dinner time? Like I just don't want to come in. I'm just still, I've got so much to do.
Yeah.
Can you connect it to people who are awake or awakening end up being entrepreneurs?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Laura just asked about connecting this to those who are on the awakening path and what that looks like for them as far as becoming entrepreneurs. In my practice and with our friends, I see this a lot of people that are waking up to the world, waking up to themselves and asking themselves, like, what am I doing? Like, during the pandemic, there was this great, what do they call it? Like leaving their jobs, like
The great
Meg's I don't know.
yeah.
Anyways, most people were leaving their jobs. Most people were waking up to recognize I don't like what I'm doing, and I'm spending majority of my life doing it.
Yeah.
The majority of your life, you're doing something that you don't like to do. So a lot of people during the pandemic woke up and said, I don't want to be doing this. This is not making me happy. I need to create change. And so people were walking away from their jobs, and a lot of people are starting their own businesses on the side or finding different ways to start businesses. And I think that speaks to the entrepreneurial world is all about self-creation.
Right. Reinvention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we knew a girl who didn't want to get vaccinated, lost her job at a factory that was a pretty good job, and opened a dog training business. And was really, I mean, as far as I can remember, was quite successful. And I think still is. You know, we knew a lot of people that figured out a way to pivot into their own employment, and it didn't necessarily have to be some crazy, you know, could be a dog walker.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, and like people were pretty surprised to find that when you eliminate maybe downtown parking costs, gas every day, a lot of expenses that come with working full time, that you can take on something like a dog walking job and be extremely successful and make close to, if not more than what you were making before.
Yeah. And you're outside all day, you're getting exercise.
What's the stress? Like, what's the stress? And I mean, obviously you're just making sure that the dogs aren't fighting and that no dogs get loose. But if you're going to be a dog walker, I imagine you've got pretty chill energy where you're probably not going to go into it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can think of a lot of stuff like that. And I think that's wonderful.
I mean, a lot of people that left the hospital or left their jobs during the COVID era with the vaccine mandates, a lot of people are also pivoting big time and doing something completely different and found a lot more joy in what they're doing now. I mean, the pandemic was great in the sense that it forced change upon a lot of people. It forced them to wake up. And when we're not ready to, or we don't create the change to wake up ourselves, the universe will shake things up in order for us to become awake. And that is a gift in disguise because we need that, you know, we need to lose that job in order to get on the path that is where our spirit is guided.
Yeah, right.
You know, you need to get fired in order to go, fine, I'm actually been wanting to do this all my life, so now I'm going to freaking do it.
Yeah.
You know, because people will stay in something that they know and is familiar and stressful because that is less scary than going over here into the unknown and doing something completely out of your realm of comfort.
Yeah, right.
So we will prefer to stay in that cycle of stress rather than expand ourselves and try something new. That takes way more effort, way more courage, way more intrinsic motivation to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why the golden handcuffs
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of people. You stay in these, good paying jobs, whether you're at the school board, you're at the hospital, government jobs, like you can get paid decent money, but again, you're limited. You're within a limited amount. And so you adapt your life based off of that amount.
Yeah.
You adapt your whole life around that amount.
Yeah. And the other whole point of that is that it's like soul sucking. So yeah, you're limiting in your income, but you're also limiting yourself in your personality. Having worked in the past at a college, Fanshawe, I can tell you how soul sucking that type of a job is, because I didn't quite understand at the time. I did, but I didn't. I didn't understand how relevant it was, but I already knew that I was being silenced. Like I was exactly what they didn't want anymore. Once the DEI era, like I worked at the college since 2008, I think. And it was really great for the first few years. It was really fun. I loved it. I enjoyed myself immensely. And then I think it was probably around 2013 when it started to get 2012, 2013, when it started to lose its luster, when you couldn't joke around in certain ways anymore. You had to, there was no like, I loved showing off on a motorcycle. There was nothing better. And then you would be getting in trouble because you did a maneuver, you did a little wheelie or something, and it would be like, oh, you're setting a bad example. You can't do that. It's like, well, like really, when these people leave, like you don't think that they're pulling wheelies, like
more
really,
rules.
it was just
more
all about,
regulations.
all about show and being, everything was about safety. And like, listen, as someone who owned a motorcycle school, safety, I taught you how to ride a motorcycle. Safety is my biggest number one. Always be safe.
Right.
But there is a limit. Like you can still be safe and have fun, but all the fun was being taken out of everything. It was just all about safety, and everything that was fun was eliminated season by season by season by season, until you were left with this just very dry. The teachers were dry because anybody good was quitting, and
there's no life.
Didn't want to put up with the bullshit anymore. And I was just getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed out. With every, what did I get in trouble? When did I get in trouble? One of my final things I got in trouble for was, I think I just said like something about shooting me. Like, shoot me in the face if that ever happens. Something like that. Something so stupid. Like, I don't even remember what it was about. But there was a new person, a new woman. And that was the other thing, is then they had to start. I was like the only woman. There was this one other cool lady named Kathy, and she was she basically started it. So she was very, very knowledgeable and skilled. And then there was me, also, of course, very knowledgeable, very skilled. Then they started bringing in broads that couldn't fucking ride. They couldn't teach, but they had to fill numbers. They had to have more women.
Did you explain what you were doing?
Oh, well, I mean, I did a lot of things at the college, but in this particular instance, I was a motorcycle examiner and instructor. Okay. But I did a lot of other administrative roles as well at the college in that time. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about. But they started bringing in women, and it was just, it was embarrassing because you'd have these women that couldn't meet the criteria. They couldn't do what we were teaching. They could barely execute the exercises themselves that they were trying to instruct. And as a woman, a skilled woman, it's embarrassing to see that type of behavior because it diminishes what I feel are the skillful women's roles. Because now you're just being in there because you're a woman.
Well, that was the push around gender equality.
Well, and it's like race too.
Yeah.
It's like when you just put a black guy in because he's black instead of him being skilled. Like If it's a black guy and he's skilled, great. But what about the black guy that is skilled, that didn't get the job because someone else had to take the job because they fit the criteria?
Right.
Like, it should never be about that. It should just be about who's great.
Who's good for the
And
job.
if you had 5 openings this year for instructors and the best 5 were men, then that's who gets the job.
Right.
If one of the 5 applicants was me, then I should get the job. I could meet the criteria. I can exceed the skills necessary. And I'm a fairly good communicator, and I thought I was a really good teacher.
So what was the...
Well, the point is just that, I left and went out on my own and did really well in preparing students for exams, or teaching mostly women who are looking to get into the sport successfully while having fun and not being intimidated by all of the safety precautions that made people feel actually more scared than they did opposite.
So I think that makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people, it impacts a lot of people around. There's a giant push around ministry standards, safety standards, which is all, kind of like fear-based. Like, I know when I worked for Children's Aid, you got so many ministry standards because you don't want to do any harm, and everything is fear-based. So we got to check the box to say that we did this so that we cover our ass and there's no liability issues. Like, all of our decisions were made around liability.
Like how my cousin came into my house when Evelyn was born, or before she was born. I think it was after she was born, and she worked for CAS and was angry with me that I had baby bumper pads.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh my God, you can't have that." And I was having her sleep wrapped up in that thing. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't allowed
Can't
either.
swaddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was mad.
This is what you're supposed to do. Part of my training. So you can't have you can't, when I was there anyways, you can't have anything in the crib, no blanket, nothing.
Yeah.
But you can only add more layers, put more onesies on the baby.
Which the baby can't regulate its temperature. So adding more layers is actually more detrimental to the baby.
Right.
And let's just throw this out there. Definitely going off track with this one. But the reason that babies were having SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, was not because their faces were getting buried in the bumper pads. It's because you vaccinated them within the last 14 days, and they're having a reaction to the large amount of toxic materials,
heavy metals,
that you've just injected into their tiny little perfect body.
Yeah.
And that's really sad, because now you've got babies layering up in onesies versus just letting them have a fucking blanket and some bumper pads.
Yeah. So that government run agency, just like with schools and hospitals, it's liability focused.
Yeah.
Right? That's the main priority.
Absolutely.
Not client centered,
Yeah.
not client focused or patient focused,
Yeah.
or student focused.
Right.
Even though they'll say it is, it really isn't. It's liability focused.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Question.
Well, look, can you talk about how, like, in school, like Abby, in high school wants to push you into college, university to go to jobs instead of actually teaching kids that they can
Oh, yeah.
have their own jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point. With our daughter in post-secondary education, or in high school, are they encouraging or teaching entrepreneurial-led skills, or are they pushing post-secondary in order to obtain employment?
Yeah, I shouldn't say there's zero, because there might be one course, but I don't even think it's called entrepreneurship. I think it just details a little bit of what that could look like. But even in the trades, they're not necessarily preparing you for being self-employed. They're preparing you to work for an electrical company or a carpentry company or something.
It's a conveyor belt system. Our education system is a conveyor belt system in order to build workers.
Yeah.
Not in order to think freely, to learn how to run your own business, how to craft, how to create, how to master a skill in that way, so that you can then build on that, sell a product, sell a service, grow into, a multi-billion-dollar company. You're not taught skills like that.
No. Rockefeller didn't design the school system so that you would be his competition. He designed the school system so you would be his worker.
Yeah.
His very good, well-behaved, attentive worker that listened to bells Obedient, exactly. That listened to bells and whistles and commands. That's how the school system was created. So yeah, they're definitely not, in my opinion, preparing, pushing, or teaching any kind of entrepreneurial skills. That's completely up to the parent. And again, most parents aren't. So
Because they've also been raised in that same
right.
system.
So most kids are just modeling their parents of what they see, which is the busy bee worker.
Yes, this
working
is now
very
generational.
hard for very little outcome.
So the entrepreneurial mindset or the entrepreneurial path, then, if you've been a worker bee and you've been in that world for a long time, setting course into the entrepreneurial field means that you have to unlearn all those skills, take off all those masks that you've had to wear to be in that job, to take on that position that you're signing that contract for. You have to unmask yourself, unlearn all the obedience of following order of that contract, of following the rules of that organization.
Yeah, right.
In order to set the course of what your values are for your own business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think of how triggering that can be for a lot of people who are going, I only know how to follow the rules of this contract and what I've been doing for however many years. To unlearn all that and have free and full range of creating whatever I want.
Yeah, very challenging.
That's scary. Yeah. Yeah.
Like abundance. Talk about like lack of abundance. It's huge.
To talk about abundance and the lack of abundance
Oh, well, there's always abundance if you follow the right direction. There's always work, in my opinion. There's always work if you do a good job. That's the main thing. If you put your
integral job.
If you put your energy and effort and do an integral job, there will always be work to be done. There will always be customers, there'll always be clients, you'll always have work to do. If you work for yourself and you won't have any abundance, because it won't take long before the referrals stop coming in. It's that simple. Abundance just comes with hard work. There's no magic.
I wouldn't say just hard work, because effort. Absolutely effort. I think so my job, I think abundance continues to come the more that I nourish what I do for like when I run my practice, I do it from a place of love. I do it from a place of, this is like what I love to do. And so I want to share that. I want to help people. I want people to grow. So it comes from this place of feeling inspired. It's over something that I'm passionate about. And that energy that I'm putting out there is met. Right? So it's a frequency that aligns with somebody else who finds me and that wants to take care of themselves. And so the more that I put that frequency out in my practice, I met with the same frequency with people who reach out to me. Excuse me. When I am maybe stressed or a little exhausted and I don't really feel like working, people will cancel. I don't have to do anything. I just know like people are going to cancel that day. And then I'm like, sweet, because I needed that. And I need to recharge my spiritual battery.
So people listening think that they should just cancel and that's sweet.
No, but it's like on a certain day, it will happen like
Yeah.
2 people will do it. So I have the morning off.
Yeah.
It just kind of works out that way. I just have to think like, oh, I'm a little bit tired. I need a morning so I can, like, this is how manifestation happens really fast. The more that you're living in your passion, I'll literally think like this week, oh gosh, I could really use a morning to sit and just paint. And then boom, boom, I'll get 2 people cancel in the morning that week. And I'll be like, okay, there it is. So
nice.
Abundance comes even in asking the universe for time freedom. You know, abundance can come in the form of financial freedom. The more that, you know, in the entrepreneurial world, you don't have a cap on income. So you can grow and expand yourself to the capacity that you let yourself be expanded.
Yeah.
So what you feel deserving of, means that is how you're going to expand yourself to that amount.
Right.
So if you are limited and you don't feel your services, if there's like that insecurity of I'm not worthy of pricing myself at that much, or I don't want to ask for that much. I had that fear at the beginning when I started my own practice, like, can I really ask for that much money? And then I priced myself lower because I felt bad, guilt. Right? And so self-discernment becomes like, I'm allowed to price my service at what my value is. And I'm allowed to own my value.
I've taken it a step further. I priced myself higher than I'm worth so that I don't get riffraffed. Because I don't want to work.
You want to price yourself out of competition.
Yeah, I don't want to work. So if you want me, you're going to pay for me.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
and people do, because I'm the best at what I do.
Yeah.
So
that is good.
You will pay me what I am worth, because I'm better. I'm not going to charge what the other guy charges because he's an idiot. That might be the standard, but he's an idiot and I'm not. So I'm going to do the best job for you. So you're going to pay me more than you'd pay him because he's an idiot. And that's how it works. So
that's confidence. Yeah.
That's just how people need to think, because everybody's done this. Everyone's shopped around and they found the best. And then they thought, well, this guy was in between, so I'm going to go with the in-between guy. That's what everybody does. Everybody gets a quote and they go with the middle guy because they think that the cheapest guy is shitty because he's too cheap. And they think that...
No confidence.
And they think that this guy is too expensive because he's the highest. And they think, this guy's middle of the road. I'm going to take him. And you know why he's middle of the road? Because he's middle of the fucking road. That's why he's middle of the road. And that's why you should have taken the guy that was the high end, because he's the one that's worthy of it. He knows what his worth is. He knows what his time is worth. He's going to go the extra mile to make sure that whatever he's building for you is the best. And that's why you should have paid for the best, 10 or 15% more. And you would have got, it done right the first time.
That's honestly, and we've talked about this on another episode, I think, where we talked about financial, like the more that you invest in, the more money that you're willing to invest in yourself or invest in your home, the greater the return. So when you invest in a really good contractor and you pay for his skill set, you're going to get a really great return, and you're not going to have issues, and you're not going to have to pay for somebody to come back in and fix something. You're going to get everything done right and really nicely done. That is going to add value to the home. And
you don't nickel and dime him either, because he won't forget that.
Yeah, being cheap. If you're going to be cheap.
If you said, okay, if he said like 20 grand and you said 18, how about 18? Can you do it for 18? And he's like, fuck. Yeah, okay, I'll do it for 18. And then he's building you your cabinet and something gets chipped. Something happens, whatever it might be. And he's like, fuck it. Like, whatever.
That's the energy.
They won't see it. They'll never notice it. They won't see it. Well, it's not his energy. It's just you fucking cheaped him down. So why is he going to go the extra mile for you? You're not willing to pay him what he wanted you to pay him.
I know, but that's energy matching.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying I'm with him.
Well, yeah. Well, if as a customer, like when because as entrepreneurs, we don't have benefits. We invest our money into the services that we want to go to. Yeah. We don't need to have benefits because we prioritize investing in our health wherever we need to. Yeah. When we need to.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I like a bargain. Okay, like I bought a new drill and I haggled with the guy. He was asking $130, which was a really good price because it was $200 online, what I saw. And he was asking $130 and I said, will you take $100? And he said, I'll take $130. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, whatever. I tried, I failed, and I bought it. And then when I got to the store, on the box, it said $199. And so I did get a good deal. And so I don't mind haggling on certain things, but not on someone's work. Not on, it's different. Like there's a time and a place to haggle. Like if I'm in the straw market in the Bahamas, I'm going to haggle a little bit. If
Yeah.
I'm buying a bunch of mugs and a bunch of stuff, I'm going to haggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be that person that would try and get it for nothing. There's a difference between, because here's the thing, having worked in the islands, I know how that is. And I know that they see people, Americans, coming a mile away. And if I walked up knowing them, they would charge me, say, $7 for this mug. But when the tourists come off the boat, it's $12 now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any harm in saying I'll give you 10, because really it was 7.
Right.
So you went from 7 to 12 to 10, you're still winning.
Yeah.
But if I said to the guy, I'll give you $2, you're a piece of shit. That's wrong. And I've seen that, where they deliberately try to take advantage because these people don't have a lot, and that's wrong. But
So there's still integrity.
there's integrity behind it, you know, because you both know that you're playing a game here.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, knowing your worth, that's definitely a part of being an entrepreneur. And you know what? Sometimes when you start out, you have to be the low man.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. You have to be the low man on the totem pole. I know that I got told in my DEI meeting that I'm not allowed to say low man on the totem pole, but I am saying it. You might have to be the low man on the totem pole for the first couple years to get an establishment, like establish your name. You're not going to go into a job and bid on it and give the highest price when they ask you to see your portfolio and you don't have one. Because you've never done one.
Yeah.
You've never done a kitchen. You've helped a guy and you've done it in school and you've built them. But this is when you're going to have to be, you know, the person that's the low man on the totem pole with the guy that doesn't have as much money, and he's going to have to take a chance on you.
Right.
There is a time and a place. Like you're going to have to build yourself up to being the asshole like me who's asking for 15% more just because I am what I am who I am. But you can get there. Yeah, I firmly believe that. But I mean, okay, here's an example. I used to charge 75% as a fee of 1 month's rent when I was, you know, first. In fact, I think maybe at one point it was 50%.
For what?
For 1 month's rent. Like that's how rentals work. Right. So, and then it went to 75, and then it went to 100. And I had someone that said, well, I'd been charging someone 75% for a long time. Like they'd been like a customer for probably close to a decade. The only person that was still getting this fabulous deal.
Right.
And I finally said, and I was worried about saying it, but I finally said, look, I don't really do a lot of this anymore. I'm kind of, you know, in a different part of my life now. If you still want me and my services, which are the best, this is my fee. And that was, oh yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm glad that you set a boundary around that. Because that is your value and you don't need to continue to exhaust yourself for that.
Yeah.
When I first started my private practice, I started renting the non-heated studio of my yoga studio, a non-heated room. And I put down yoga mats and pillows, and I charged $60.
Right.
And I was like, who wants to come in? Who will come see me? I need to get some practice.
Right.
I need to start to build this. And then it grew from there. It grew to, I'm going to now pay for 2 IKEA chairs so that we can sit up off the floor. And then eventually I was getting enough business that I could rent out my first office space downtown. And then that built up until we eventually were able to buy a whole house, invest in a property, and have other business practitioners working out of it.
I do think that's hard for people to start, is I think that they don't understand that you can start small.
You can start really small.
Yeah.
Like literally just yoga mats on the floor.
Yeah.
Like not knowing what I'm doing, just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
Like there is so much humility with starting and not being perfect with it right away and not having like this grand, like I think people look at like what we have right now with, you know, the farm and the studio space, but they might not know I started on, you know, working in the evenings with 2 yoga mats on the floor and just like $60 rate.
Right. Or some people jump in too big too fast and fail because they can't meet the overhead.
Right.
Like, for example, shout out to one of our listeners, Liz. She's got a hairdressing business in the front hall of her house.
Yeah.
I think it's called front door
Front doors.
something. Sorry,
Salon.
Liz. Front door something. But it's cool because
Yeah.
why rent a space for $1,500 a month, like for a chair,
Mm-hmm.
in a salon
Yeah.
that you have to have productivity and certain number of clients and you have to be there for a certain
Yeah.
time. This way, she's got little kids that she can take to school, be there when they're done school, pick
Yeah.
them up, and then work in between whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
Or evening appointments. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's
Yeah.
just that's how you. And if one day she feels like she wants to expand, she can. But right now, she's got everything that she needs. It's costing her absolutely nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't have to leave her home. Brilliant. Where do I sign up?
I think the expectations of having these grandiose spaces and maybe, you know, like the storefront, you know,
Yeah.
and the image of
Right.
like
That's it. The image.
the image
is like the
it's
key thing.
very ego
Everyone's-
driven.
It is.
You know, and social media showing everybody like all these beautiful
Yep.
things, and this is what you
Yep.
know, like so people are aspiring to building these
Yep.
really unrealistic expectations, whereas you have to start with small baby steps in order to build.
How many businesses have you seen that pop open? Right? And then you have to remember that those spaces, a majority of the time, are leased spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So these people spend $50,000 to renovate. I mean, a minimum. It's. I mean, depending, it could be double that now. But you spend all this money renovating a leased building that you don't even own, and then you go bankrupt or you lose it, and you have nothing to show for it. You don't even own the space, and you've just sunk all that money into, you know, the walls, the I mean, when you lease a space, that's all up to you. You want to put a bathroom and a shower in, you got to pay for that. The landlord's not like, oh, I'll put a shower in over there. That's not how leases work for commercial spaces. You're responsible for all of the interior work that you do. That's why the lease terms are typically longer, 5 to 10 years versus, 12 to 12 months in a rental.
Right.
But anyway, it's just, it happens. They just go, it's all about the image, and they've got to create this crazy space, and then 2 years later it's out of business. And you're just done.
I think there is that skill of feeling humble and to feel humility with starting small that a lot of people don't want to sit in because of our ego getting in the way of like, I need to be a certain way. I need to project a certain image rather than sitting in more of that humility of like, I got to start somewhere. So I just need to start.
Yeah.
Even Laura and I were chatting before we started recording, and I was saying like how much did the camera cost you? Like what's this production value? Like all this beautiful equipment that you have, like how much is this all worth? Like how much have you invested in? And you were just saying like you started small. You start with like the one thing, and then you keep adding and you keep growing and you build, and then you get a new job and you get, you know, this new contract, and then you get, okay, now I'm going to invest in these, right? So even like how we got to the farm and the studio space.
It's brick by brick.
It's it's literally step by step.
Brick. Yeah.
It becomes a lifestyle.
It's not, I've never taken a loan to start a business. And I know a lot of people that do that take big loans to start a business.
Yeah.
I just think that's the wrong move. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur and you've got to spend $30,000, like you're a guy, let's say, and you want to be a carpenter, and you're like, okay, well, I need a $30,000 loan, or you know what, it would be more. Because if you were like, I need a pickup truck, I need a trailer, I need, right? I need all my saws. I mean, the truck and the trailer, come on. I mean, you're fucked, man. You're never gonna happen. But brick by brick, step by step, you add and you do this. I'm not ready for that side job yet because I don't have the ability to do that, but I can start here and I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe buy a trailer a couple years down the road, and then maybe, okay, fill my trailer with tools slowly but surely. And then, now I've got big weekend jobs. And then finally it's okay, I'm ready to make the leap and I can quit my job.
Yeah.
But to just think you can do it over one night is crazy.
I think that is part of the ego perfectionism mentality because, you know, therapists that want to go out on their own and to start their own private practice, there's a lot of fear around starting or opening your own practice and putting out your fee if you don't have X, Y, and Z to back you up, if you don't have EMDR training, if you don't have somatic experience training, if you're not a DBT therapist or whatever therapist, that you are not skilled enough to put yourself out there. And it continues to feed this this fear around what's that term, that you're not good enough, like the
Not worthy.
No, I'm always forgetting the term. Like you're essentially not, like the inner saboteur takes over and you are just not good enough to put yourself out there. So you don't.
Right.
Right. Anyways, there's a lot of fear of therapists not taking the leap and just starting. You don't have to be an expert. That's why you build experience.
Yeah, the expertise comes with trial and error.
Yeah.
With every client that you have.
Right? So knowledge and experience makes wisdom.
And practicing it yourself.
Yeah.
Practicing what you preach.
Yeah, so to have these unrealistic expectations that you're going to be perfect and you're painting this beautiful picture in your mind and on your social media feed that you are this master in this area and that you have this beautiful space and this top-notch service when you haven't started anything from the beginning.
Yeah, right.
So our unrealistic expectations that we build in our head also prevent people from taking the step forward to take any movement because this ideal perfected person that you want to be is blocking you from even starting because you're not that and you're not already there, so I can't do it. Right? That lacks humility. Right? Yeah. That is completely lacking self-compassion. Lacking humility to say, I can laugh at the fact that I just need to start.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so true.
And the excuse me, us being entrepreneurs and, in our own fields and then collaborating together in several different aspects. It's now how we see the world. We're always looking at things of how can we create this? How can we create this?
Well, and everybody has strengths and weaknesses too.
Yeah.
It's why collaborating is good.
Yeah.
Because I have more of like a business sense, like a sharp business sense. And you come from more
sales.
of a, yeah, and you come from more of a compassionate, like wanting to help. So no offense, but sometimes coming from being just like somebody who wants to help doesn't always make the best entrepreneur. No, right? Because you're not always seeing the value because you just want to be of assistance, which is great. But that can't be for you can't give free service to everybody. You can't do things for everybody. You have to have you have to have limitations on things.
You have to have boundaries.
So it's nice to have somebody else that you can bounce things off that's a bit harder.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fucking stone cold bitch as far as it comes to business. I am. I am. Business, I am. But, I'm 44 years old. I've been around the block. I've been fucked around and I'm not going to get fucked around anymore. And you have to be able to
be firm with boundaries.
Be firm with that. So if you're not, good luck. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to be a pushover, you're not going to make it. You have to be. I wanted to help people too. There was a time in my life where I'll never forget them. I've told you this story. It was these two fucking big fat losers. And they came to me. My poor client just bought this house, renovated it. And I was really green. They came for a showing. They had first and last in cash. Red fucking flag. I didn't know it at the time, but that's a big fucking red flag. And they just really pushed me. We really want this. We really want this. Like, please, we really need it. Our landlord was an asshole. He kicked us out.
Oh, the SAP story.
Blah, blah, blah. And I was, I felt so bad for them. I really felt bad for them. And I thought they deserve a chance. Yeah. They completely fucked me. They never paid rent again. That was all they ever paid. They lived there for close to a year. It was nearly impossible to evict them. Once we finally evicted them, they had must have had several litters of puppies. all living on the floor. Like there was shavings on the floor. Like they made the floor, it was disgusting. And all kinds of people living there. The unit was trashed. And honestly, it had to happen because it made me stronger as a businesswoman. But every time that I get an email, and let me tell you, and Jen can attest to this because I show her them because it's so crazy right now. The amount of people that I get that reach out that are,
using pity or victim stories.
It's a sob story.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure that a lot of them deserve a chance. And while as long as we give all of our money to Ukraine, that can't happen, unfortunately. And as long as we're letting in 100 million immigrants and don't help our own people, this is going to continue to be a problem, but it's not my problem.
Right.
And that's the thing that, that's hard for people to accept, but it's not my problem. And my job is to find the best possible tenant that's going to pay their bills, treat the place with respect, and, give my client the best return for their dollar. Mm-hmm. That's my job. Yep. My job isn't to save the world.
No. Just like my job isn't to save everybody who wants to reach out for counseling and to ask for pro bono or sliding scale or, can you meet with me on the weekend? Or I learned, those were lessons I had to learn along the way as well, because my fee is my fee, and I respect my fee. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to respect it, then we're not going to be a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's not like you don't help out people, because you certainly do. But we have to find those people, the used 20 years ago now, that are starting out in the field. Yeah. Those are wonderful people for pro bono. Those are wonderful people for sliding scale. Yeah. Because they need the work as much as the people need the help.
Yes.
So
great point.
There's always an opportunity for someone to find help. Mm-hmm.
There's always students wanting to learn. There's always people needing support.
Sure. So there really is. We just have to, it's just about connecting people.
Right.
But anyway, that's that.
So any final thoughts though on the entrepreneurial world? Any recommendations you can give to people?
I think my only recommendation would be to stop thinking that you can't. Don't limit yourself. Because you can. And
only you are
should.
blocking you.
And you should. And every excuse that you make is just fear.
That's great. Every excuse. When you make excuses, you're blocking yourself. Yeah. And that is your fear getting in the way of your success. Yeah. Wherever your goals are, wherever your inspiration is where you're meant to be headed. That is your purpose. That is where your dharma is. That is where your soul is guiding you. That is what you're meant to be doing in this world. And you working towards your fear, working towards your dreams of what you wanted to do, what those big dreams are, that why you came here. Yeah. Those are the things that will also liberate you. Those things are the things that will also free you. I was terrified of public speaking, but I dreamed of being a yoga teacher, and I said a lot of weird things in class. I got really nervous. I spoke really weird. I stumbled over my words.
But it didn't take long before you were the most sought after teacher at the studio.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's led my passion of embodied living and understanding more even about Buddhism. And that's fed into my practice now. And so it's kind of, it builds, right? It's building into the next thing. So everything in your life is always building into the next thing. And you have to trust that everything happens in divine timing. Okay, so that being said, I am going to do a plug because Laura just told me to.
And it's our show.
And it's our show. So and we can do whatever we want because we're entrepreneurs.
We can pretty
and
much
this is for fun. We're doing this for pure fun and enjoyment and to be of service for our community.
Yeah, what's the plug?
I'm currently working on my online courses. I have one almost ready to go live. It's on preparation and integration for ceremonies. And my second course that I'm currently recording right now with Alora is on a self-care series. So it's a more in-depth, detailed way of learning how to take care of yourself in all aspects of your well-being.
Very cool.
So things I talk about all the time with my clients, this is now a time that I can put it out there. People can go and access all the information, go back, review it, take notes, implement it. And it's like the groundwork in order to regulate yourself, to be well overall, and so that you can expand into the next stage of your spiritual awakening. So that being said,
I think that's great. And that's a wonderful, again, for the entrepreneurial minded person, that's revenue. That's a revenue stream that will just be
passive income,
hopefully. So you put yourself out there, you invest in yourself, and hopefully it grows.
And our goals are to have more time freedom and financial freedom so that we can have the space and time to create whatever we want and to build on whatever we want.
Yeah.
And everybody's deserving of those things.
Yeah. Cool.
So anyways, thanks for listening. I love this episode. This was great.
Hope you guys liked it. And I hope you liked it more than, I wonder if you liked it more than the Brigitte Macron episode. Because I feel like it's funny because this episode we're recording on the same day that we recorded the Brigitte episode. And I'm just feeling like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't very good. I don't know if people like it or not. So I'm curious. I'm really curious for the feedback on that one.
Yeah. Well, give us feedback. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know if you like this one. Let us know if there's anything that you want to hear us talk about, or if you have questions, like chat with us.
We get back on the comments pretty quickly. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.